Hey guys, I want to read you a passage from this book I'm reading. I read it once long ago. It's going to be backwards because of the photo booth thing here, but it's Moonchild by Aleister Crowley. It's one of his only novels. He's actually written mostly non-fiction. This is one of his works of fiction, which I really like his writing style. It's very poetic and very descriptive and auspicious. Anyways, I'm reading from page 66, probably just page 68, maybe even 69 a little bit. We'll see where I go to. Anyways, I hope you enjoy it. I'll just briefly say there's 3 characters that are taking place here. Simon If, Cyril Gray, and Lisa, I forget her last name, but it's one of the main characters. And Simon If is an older mystic. Cyril Gray's his student, and there's something going on that they're having to address in the garden, and there's something that has entered their awareness and is probably has malicious intent. So I'll just start reading from the middle of the page here. "Do you see the thing?" said If. That's Simon If. Lisa strained her eyes. "You mustn't look for anything very definite," said the mystic. "It seems as if the darkness were somehow different in that corner," said Lisa, at last, pointing to the corner. "A sort of reddish tinge on the murk." "Oh dear me, if you will use words like murk, I'm afraid you're all on Cyril's side. Look now," and he put his hand on her head. With the other he offered her the dittany. Chew one of these leaves," he said. She took one of the silver-gray leaves with its delicate snow bloom between her teeth. "I can see sort of a shapeless mass, dark red," she said, after a pause. "Now watch," cried If. He took several steps into the garden and raised his right hand. "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law," he proclaimed in such a voice that it shook. He proclaimed in such a voice as once shook Sinai. Then he threw the rest of the dittany in the direction of the thing. "By all the powers of the pentagram," shouted Cyril Gray. "He's deliberately making a magical link between it and Lisa." He bit his lip and cursed himself in silence. He knew he had been startled out of prudence. Simon If had not noticed the outburst. He quoted, "The book of the law, be strong," he cried. "Enjoy all things of sense and rapture. There is no God that shall deny thee for this." The thing became coherent. It contracted slightly. Lisa could now see that it was an animal of the wolf type, couchant. The body was as big as that of a small elephant. It became quite clearly visible. It was a dull fiery red. The head was turned towards her, and she was suddenly shocked to see that it had no eyes. The old man advanced toward it. He had abandoned his prophetic attitude. His whole gait expressed indifference, no, forgetfulness. He was merely a quiet old gentleman taking an evening stroll. He walked right into the thing. Suddenly, as it enveloped him, Lisa saw that a faint light was issuing from his body, pale phosphorescence, which kindled warmly as he went. She saw the edges of the thing contract as if they were sucked inwards. This proceeded, and the light became intense. About a burning ovoid core dawned, and vibrated the flashing colors of the rainbow. The thing disappeared completely. At the same moment, the light went out. Simon If was once again merely an old gentleman taking an evening stroll. But she heard a soft voice, almost as faint as an echo. It murmured, "Love is the law, love and the will." "Let us go in," said he as he rejoined them. "You must not catch a chill." Lisa went to the divan. Divan's a British word for couch. She said nothing. She was stupefied by what she had seen. Perhaps she even lost consciousness for a moment, for her next impression was of the 2 men arguing. "I agree," Cyril said. Cyril is a student, by the way. "It is very neat and shows the restraint of the great artist, but I am thinking of the man behind the gun. I should have struck terror into him." So just a bit of background here. He was referring to the man behind the gun as whomever sent this thing the wolf-shaped spirit thing to them, because it was sort of referred to earlier that there's someone out to get them magically by sending this thing their way. And this is If saying, "But fear is failure," protested If mildly, as if surprised. "But we want them to fail." "Oh no, I want them to succeed." Cyril turned rather angrily towards Lisa. "He's impossible. I fancy myself at Paradox, you know. But he goes beyond my understanding every time. I'm an amateur, and a rotten amateur at that." "Let me explain," said Simple Simon. "If everybody did his will, there would be no collision. Every man and every woman is a star. It is when we get off our orbits that the clashes come. Now, if a thing gets off its orbit and comes into my sphere of attraction, I absorb it as quietly as possible, and the stars sing together again." "Phew," said Cyril, and pretended to wipe the sweat from his brow. "But weren't you in danger from that devilish thing?" asked Lisa, with the memory of a great anxiety. She had trembled like an aspen during the scene in the garden. "The rhinoceros," quoted Simon If, "finds no place in him into which to thrust its horn, nor the tiger a place in which to fix its claws, nor the weapon a place to emit its point. And for what reason? Because there is in him no place of death. But you did nothing. You were just acting like an ordinary man. But I think it would have been death for anyone but you. An ordinary man would not have touched the thing. It was on a different plane and would no more have interfered with him than sound interferes with light. A young magician, one who had opened a gate on to that plane, but had not yet become a master of that plane, might have been overcome. The thing might have even dispossessed his ego and used his body as its own. That is the beginner's danger in magic. And what is your secret? To have assimilated all things so perfectly that there is no longer any possibility of struggle. To have destroyed the idea of duality. To have achieved love and will so that there is no longer any object to love or any aim for will. To have killed desire at the root. To be one with everything and with nothing. Look," he went on, with a change of tone, "why does a man die when he is struck with lightning? Because he has a gate open to the lightning. He insists on being an electrical substance by possessing the quality of resistance to the passage of the electrical current. If we could diminish that resistance to zero, lightning would no longer take notice of him. There are two ways of preventing a rise of temperature from the sun." This is just another example. "One is to oppose a shield of non-conducting and opaque material. That is Cyril's way, and at the best it is imperfect. Some heat always gets through. The other is to remove every particle of matter from the space which you wish to be cold. Then there's nothing there to become hot. And that is the way of the Tao." I think we'll end there. So, if you understood that, the ideas in that book or in the passage there. And the whole book is kind of like that. There's Aleister Crowley's ideas about different philosophy and religious/spiritual concepts mixed into a story so that you can grasp the concepts in a way that isn't too heady as they might be in nonfiction. And that's kind of why I like his writing, because sometimes when you read tons of books of that nature, they can get pretty heady and exhausting after a while. So I would definitely recommend anyone to check that book out. I did a school project on it in high school. I just dug it out and I'm rereading it. It's entertaining. It's actually what it's actually about is that's that Lisa woman on the cover and her child, which she doesn't actually have it till the end of the book, but the idea is to magically create a sort of, how to describe that? Not magically create, but using ritual and intention to create a child through the normal means, but with the ritual surrounding it, is to control the outcome of the child. So the almost like intentionally creating a benevolent being, or bringing and attracting a soul or spirit into the womb to gestate and become a person that's going to be of more noble character than if you were to just have a child without that intention. And that's kind of an interesting idea, because I definitely think a lot of people have children these days that aren't with intention. They don't plan. There's different levels of intention. There's having a child because you want to, and then there's having a child because you just got pregnant or your partner got pregnant. Then there's, you're financially secure, so you're wanting a child and then you have it. Then this is kind of another level altogether where you have the intention. You'd have to read the book to understand more about it, but there's a whole chunk of the book that's set up in describing this procedure, and I just find it pretty interesting. I found it interesting in high school and decided to read it because it's been in my sphere of awareness, I guess. So anyways, let me know what you thought about that. Maybe you've read other books by Aleister. I've read several of his books. I kind of want to get some more now. I want to check out his other fiction too. So yeah. Let me just read the back briefly here. Aleister Crowley, a prolific writer, wrote only a few novels in his lifetime. Moonchild is his most famous, first published in 1917. Moonchild appeals to the new generation of readers who recognize Crowley as one of the most unique thinkers of his era. The book deals with the endless battle between the forces of light and the forces of darkness. A young girl is drawn into a magical war between two men and is forced to choose between them. As the story unfolds, the reader is taken through an incredible series of magical intrigues involving a Black Lodge. Writing from his own experiences, Crowley describes the methods and theories of modern magical practices, managing to persuade us that magic is a scientific reality and that it works. Crowley's own personality reveals itself in the characters of the good magical masters. The cover art is courtesy of the OTO archives. It was originally designed by Beresford Egan for the 1929 edition published by Mandrake Press, and it's been modified for this edition. Yeah, take care guys, and I'll talk to you next time.